research evaluation cross-cuts all phases of research and follows the researcher's progress throughout the career. It is key to improving research quality and productivity. To achieve the intended effects, however, research evaluation should follow established principles, benchmarked against appropriate criteria, and sensitive to disciplinary differences. The effect of following wrong criteria or practices in research evaluation can have seriously negative long-term effects and damage the potential of future generations of researchers. I pointed out that in an attempt to reduce the negative effects of subjectivity, in recent years there has been an increasing reliance on bibliometrics, which tries to objectivize evaluation through quantitative measures. I also presented a critical view of the existing metrics as decisive criteria in research evaluation. Their deficiencies show that relying on them as the sole evaluation criterion would be a total disaster. In this final lecture, I will provide some final recommendations on research evaluation inspired by a public report issued by Informatics Europe, the European Association of Academic Departments and Research Institutions. Apart from some informatics-specific points, these recommendations are in line with the positions expressed by most international scientific associations in the same and also in different fields. First, to achieve its positive objectives, the specific goals of any kind of evaluation must be clearly formulated upfront, and the way it is conducted must be aligned with these goals. Evaluation should follow established principles known and shared by evaluators and researchers, and take into account any specificities of the scientific field and area involved. Second, evaluation criteria should take into account that the research diffusion culture is changing and also differs across fields. Research is disseminated not only through journal publications, but also conferences. Digital technologies allow both artifact sharing and new forms of open disseminations. Evaluation cannot be restricted to only one kind. Because of the different cultures in research dissemination, the results of evaluation in one field should never be used for direct comparison with another field. For example, the publication record of a junior researcher in, say, condensed matter physics cannot be directly compared with a junior researcher in computer vision. One can instead say that one is an emerging international star in her field who already got prestigious recognitions, while the other only has a good national reputation in her own field. Their research stands can only be compared indirectly through their stands in their respective fields. While evaluating researchers, other factors than citations must also be taken into account. Community recognitions are important indicators. Major conferences often grant best paper awards to the papers perceived to have the highest value of those accepted at a conference. Scholarly societies sometimes grant test of time awards for the paper perceived to have had the most influence in the area in the last N years. They also grant awards to individual researchers for their contributions, such as Outstanding PhD Thesis or Early Career Research Award. These distinguishing peer-reviewed awards should be highly valued in evaluation. Outreach efforts are another key indicator. The spectrum of possible outreach activities is wide. It can go from commercial exploitation or adoption of research results by industry or standard bodies to engagement with society in defining policies or dissemination to the general public of research results. Outreach activities are not a substitute for research excellence, but if they can be traced back to excellent research, they are a sign of impact. A third point concerns the use of bibliometric data. Numerical impact measurements, such as citation counts, may provide insights and may be used to inform evaluation, but must never be used as the sole source of evaluation. Any use of these techniques must be subjected to the filter of human interpretation. Although a high number of citations to a paper, for example hundreds, suggests impact, this must be confirmed by direct scrutiny. Personal judgment is needed to discriminate, for example, the case where the high number of citations is due to the survey nature of the paper or to the novelty of the contribution. Bibliometrics must be complemented by peer review and by attempts to measure impact of contribution other than papers. Publication counts must not be used as indicators of research value. They measure a form of productivity, but neither the impact nor research quality. All bibliometric data available today must be taken with extreme care and used wisely. The value they provide for the same metric, for example, the H-index, varies across sources. Let us consider the three main sources of bibliometric data: Google Scholar, ISI Web of Science, and Scopus. The data sources they use to compute the various metrics differ, and they may not support benchmarking. For example, they differ in the way they consider journal and conference papers. They differ in the possibility of fixing a date to compare, for example, the H-indexes of two researchers. As a general principle, research assessment should be used to assess quality and impact over quantity. This is especially crucial when it comes to evaluating researchers for hiring and in promotion cases. Any policy that tends to favor quantity over quality has potentially disruptive effects on the development of science and may mislead young researchers with very negative long-term effect. Such policies can lead to just focusing on least publishable increment practices. To favor quality, researcher evaluations should focus on a relatively small number of high-quality publications and artifacts, trying to identify impact factors like their novelty, their supporting artifacts, and their impact on others' work.